Alright, and welcome back to the final episode of my Zelda II Adventure of Link guided walkthrough on how to beat the game without leveling up life and magic. First order of business before going to the final palace is to pick up every single one up throughout Hyrule. There are 4 in total, however the 4th one will not do you that much good, I'm afraid, because it is found past the fence sections. Regardless, you need every little bit of help that you can get, because this part of the game is an absolute nightmare on level 1. It was tough as balls to make this episode. First of all, the road towards the Great Palace is already very long, and inside the palace you encounter some of the hardest enemies in the game, as you would expect. Some of which can take away 90% of your life in a single hit. Not to mention that the game ends with the hardest bosses in the game. So make sure that your last save was before you picked up all the extra lives, so that if you fail, you can pick them up all over again. Yes, I know you can continue once you reach the Great Palace, but without extra lives, it won't do you that much good anyway. When it comes to the fence sections, it might even be advisable that if you take too much damage early on, to go back to the town so that you can heal. Again, you need every little bit of health that you can get. There is no room to fuck around anymore at this point in the playthrough. Yeah, as I said, the 4th one up is not going to do you much good. At least not if you fuck up as much as I do. Okay, well that's just a dick move. So there goes 1 life already. And I haven't even really started the road to the palace yet. The placement of that annoying eye creature right at the start is just, it's just cruel. And we're going to deal with a lot of those fuckers on our way to the palace. Generally speaking, up thrusts are the most effective against eyeballs. Down thrusts work too, but as you should know by now, don't do it while moving right or left to prevent yourself from bouncing into a lava pit. Be aggressive against these lizards. He can block at 2 elevations like the knights, and you need to take him out quickly, otherwise you will get bothered by the eyeballs. Or he might push you back to the right and then you can't really hit him anymore. After that, annoying as it might be, it really is best to take things slowly and take out all of the eyeballs. Because if they hit you near the edge, it's a one-hit kill by falling into the lava. Also, at the end of this section is one of those jumps where you have to jump at the last possible moment. Close to pixel perfect. As if the design and placements of these areas weren't cruel enough. Make sure to close the distance between you and this scorpion as fast as possible, otherwise he will shoot fireballs at you. And after him there's a blue lizard, and that one throws his weapon, so be ready to jump over it if necessary. Same area as before, but red lizards this time. They can also throw their weapons, but if you are quick and aggressive again, you should be able to take them out quickly. And then there are eyeballs and a near pixel perfect jump ahead, like before. Well, fuck me, there goes another life, right before getting to the palace. 5 lives may sound like a lot, but given the high difficulty of the final palace and how much damage you take from enemies at level 1, I can assure you that you need every single one of them. And here we are, the final palace in the game. And what a nice start we have with only half a life bar. Now, as you would expect, my first inclination was to use the life spell. But the first enemy you encounter is one of the worst in the game, namely those firebirds. So instead I chose to use the fairy spell. Because what good is the life spell if you are almost guaranteed to take damage anyway? With the fairy spell you can prevent taking a hit. In this room there's a hidden gap that you need to jump over. It's right after the pillar, so that's easy to remember. And after taking the elevator down, move as far as you can to the right. First couple of screens don't have enemies, which is quite merciful if you ask me. Okay, here we encounter another firebird, but obviously I cannot use the fairy spell anymore. Fortunately this one is at the same level as you, so you can jump over it with the jump spell. It is still rather tricky though. In this section you need to break several walls, while in the meantime dodging those annoying horse heads. Now what I actually should have done is to first focus on killing horse heads, because they actually don't respawn endlessly. And that way you have a safe passage through the rest of the room. I guess I wasn't patient enough. Okay, really tough enemy ahead. Even with a full life bar, one direct hit takes away 90% of your life bar. And they are really fast and aggressive. It is really tricky, but the best method in my opinion is doing an up thrust when they jump and try to immediately follow up with another attack. Basically match their speed and aggression with being quick and aggressive yourself. In a way, it's a good thing that I died, because now I can use the fairy spell again to get past yet another firebird. Fuck me, I hate those fuckers. And after that we have another section with respawning horse heads, so always do down thrust when you jump. Also, those other enemies shoot fire, not rocks, so you cannot use your shield against them. Here we need to break walls again, however this time is different. This time create a path upwards, because on the other side is a blue bird knight that will rape your face if you take him straight on. So instead, you need to get yourself positioned high enough that you can attack him when he's trying to jump towards you. As long as you are in the correct position, you can just keep attacking and let him jump straight into your sword. Now this looks like a boss room, and it might as well have been one because there's yet another firebird here. And also a giant flying skull. I don't have enough magic for the fairy spell, so instead I take out the skull and then I use the shield spell instead of the jump spell. Again, it's so hard to avoid a hit against those fuckers without the fairy spell, so I pretty much try to minimize the damage, rather than even trying to completely avoid it. Okay, now we face a blue bird knight again, but this time there is no wall that we can use to our advantage. So here I use the same tactic as with the firebird, just use the shield spell and try to minimize the damage. As long as you can get past him, he will start throwing swords at you, but even if they hit you, they will do at least less damage than a direct hit. Unfortunately, there is also a giant skull in your way. Yeah, the game is really not fucking around anymore at this point. However, it does show us a little bit of mercy, and I almost forgot to even get it. There's actually a 1-up on the first floor to the left after you take the elevator down. Also, to the right on the same floor is a ferry to refill your current life bar. There are some blue jellies on the platforms on your way to the 1-up, but if you are simply patient, they will just jump into the lava. By the way, if it looks like I'm playing a bit hesitant, well, there is no map in this game, so I sometimes have a hard time remembering the correct route to take. This game can be a bit of a maze sometimes. Speaking of not remembering the correct route, to the right is the wrong way. We need to go to the left. Unfortunately, there is yet another firebird over there. So if you have enough magic, you know what to do. So here we have horse heads in a confined space and a row of breakable blocks. There's a hidden gap underneath the 5th block from the left that you need to fall through. After that you need to head to the right, where you need to run over a crumbling floor until you reach yet another gap where you need to fall into. Okay, final floor. We are near the end of the game. The Thunderbird is up ahead. And I need a full magic bar to use the Thunder spell. Otherwise you cannot even damage him. So I initially wanted to just let myself die against him. But then I remembered there is a hidden red potion to the left, so that will at least give me one extra try. This boss is really tough at level 1. A single hit will take away 90% of your life. So with a full life bar you can at least get hit once, and if you have less than that, you cannot even make that single mistake. Moreover, due to the Thunder spell costing you your entire magic bar, no other spells can help you out. Now, unfortunately, there aren't really any tips I can give you. This is all skill, there are no tricks to it. You simply need to dodge this rain of fire while finding the right opportunities to hit its head. That's the only part that can be damaged. It reminds me a bit of the final boss in Ninja Gaiden, but in this game there is no pattern to it. This is all about reflexes and also about how many lives you still have left. Remember, a game over either means restarting this palace, but without extra lives, or restarting from your last save so that you can get the extra lives again. But that means having to go all the way from the start back to the palace, back to this boss again. So this is a pretty fucked up situation. But hey, if I can do it, then so can you. Fucking hell, only one life left, but I made it. Now, as you know, only Shadow Link remains. And in principle, he is way harder than the Thunderbird. But I say, fuck that shit. There is no way I can beat him at this point, especially not on level 1. So we are going to use the very well known cheese tactic. Just sit in the corner and keep attacking. That way you are almost guaranteed to take him down without him being able to hit you. It's cheap, it's boring, it's an anticlimactic ending to this playthrough, but it's the way it's going to be. Hopefully I can beat him legit one day. Regardless, this is the end of my Zelda 2 level 1 playthrough. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe it inspired you to try it yourself, or you're already trying it yourself, and in that case I hope that this guide was helpful to you. So please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you again in the next playthrough.
Why'd you do that?
I just saved you from Ganon. I won.
You did not.
I take Zelda in my power. I shall keep her in my prison.
Good.